Hi, I am Michael Santos. I am with the Earning Freedom podcast and Prison Professor. I'm always striving to provide guidance that will help individuals who have gone through the criminal justice system or who are in the criminal justice system. And one of the ways that I do that is by creating programs that I distribute to prisons and jails across the United States. And one of those programs is being used right now in the state of Maine's prison system. And I'm really excited about working with the state of Maine because I know a lot of the men inside of there really want to be focused really want to focus on what they can do when they come out so that they can really break this cycle of intergenerational cycles of failure that happens to so many people who go into the criminal justice system. So I was really pleased when one of the participants in the program, it's called the Mastermind program that I created. And the Mastermind program is really something that I designed specifically for people in prison. And I teach the strategies that I learned from masterminds. And those masterminds include people like Socrates and Viktor Frankl and Gandhi and Nelson Mandela and other people who encountered struggle, but yet were able to emerge from that struggle successfully. It doesn't happen by accident. It requires a pattern and a deliberate commitment. And so it really thrills me when I hear from people who are participating in the program. And today I heard from an individual named Dustin Hodgdon. Dustin is currently serving some time in the state of Maine's prison system. And here's the question that he wrote me. I'm going to go ahead and read it from the screen. It says, "Dear Michael, my name is Dustin. I have been here at the Maine State Prison for 9 years. I am set to be released November the 14th, 2015, and I am very focused on change and success." That's awesome. "I believe I am a very good communicator and a speaker, and I would love to tell my story to others and help those people succeed. And I know that you have been doing this on a regular basis, so maybe you could help as I look up to you and your success. My questions are, how do I find places where I can speak, number one? And number two, how do I approach this? Is there someone I can reach out to upon my release? If you have any information, could you please send it to Diane? Diane is the administrator in the state of Maine's prison system. And of course, I am very happy to send that information through this video presentation. Then he thanks me for my time and urges me to continue the good work. So this individual's name is Dustin Hajin. That's Hodgdon. And his registration number in the state of Maine's prison system is 74253. And the reason that I am providing that detailed information, Dustin, is because I want anybody who may come across this video, to reach out to you. I want them to encourage you and support you. So if you're a listener to this podcast, or if you're a visitor to this YouTube show and you want to see an individual who is determined to emerge from prison successfully, write a letter to Dustin and encourage him. And if you're in the state of Maine and you could use a speaker who can share his story about the challenges that he has faced, then I encourage you, reach out to Dustin directly. Now, with regard to the two questions the questions that Dustin asked me, I want to give a more direct response. His first question was, how do I find places to speak at? Well, Dustin, I can tell you that it's really important for you to find places to speak, but what's more important is that you build a life of stability first, because speaking is a heavy commitment, and it comes without pay. So most of the time it comes without pay. I do a lot of speaking engagements where I am compensated, but I do far more without any compensation. And so you have to I always suggest to people who are in prison is to focus on building a really strong personal story. Show that you emerged from prison successfully and that you can show other people how to do the same. And when you come home and you're ready to start speaking, I would just suggest you start going to places that can have value in your message. And don't mention anything about a fee. Just simply offer the time to get in there and speak. So where would I suggest? I would suggest that you go to the local jail if you can. I would suggest you go to local juvenile hall if you can. I would suggest that you go to local schools if you can. And in addition to that, I would work really hard to build some type of a reel, something where people can see you and evaluate you. And it's free. As long as you have a computer, it's free. You can just record a video like I am doing right now, load it up onto YouTube, and then send people a link to that particular video. And that way people can evaluate and assess you. Now, If you really want to advance the ball, what I would challenge you to do, and I'm going to make this suggestion right now, and I hope that your teammates who are watching this will hold you accountable, is write 4 or 5 or 6 presentations and practice them. And be prepared to deliver those presentations to your group. If you're a speaker, then figure out a way that you can start crafting a message. And in that message, here are a couple of ways that you might do it. And the first one, you might provide a welcome and a little bit of background about your story. The second segment of your presentation would be telling the people what they can expect to learn from your presentation. And these are really relatively short segments. Then the third segment is your content segment, where you're going to over-deliver the key takeaways that you're going to talk about, such as what can we learn from listening to your story? How can listening to your story inspire more people to live law-abiding, contributing lives? What do you regret? And from those regrets, try to sew in there some case studies of other people that you've worked with and what they would have liked to have done differently. I mean, these are, and then give a takeaway at the end, where you're kind of reiterating what you had said, the main takeaway points, and you close. And this could be, you could apply that formula whether you are doing a 10-minute presentation or a 2-hour presentation. Just try and break it up into a structured format. And I would suggest that you create a couple of different presentations. Maybe one that talks about what messages are in your life prior to confinement, what messages are in your story during your confinement, and what messages are in your life as you go forward. But always remember this, and this is a quote, I think it's from Zig Ziglar, a famous sales coach, who said that everybody in America, they all have one favorite radio station. It is WIIFM. And WIIFM, I think that says, what's in it for me? Okay, that's what you got to be thinking about. Don't only talk about your story, talk about how people who are listening to your story can really learn from it, have some takeaways, and have a better, more fulfilling life because of your story. So that's my suggestion for the first piece. To summarize it, it's to suggest that you plan on speaking for free, at least for a couple of years, without any compensation at all. Do it as frequently as you can. And 3, create some type of a reel where you can direct people to see what you're doing. And that way, you can go just make a very simple introduction. You can send out some emails and provide a link so where if they want to see what you're doing, they can see your videos on YouTube. And all you need is a computer that you can speak into. You don't need a big microphone like this, just a computer. You can create a video, load it up onto YouTube, and then send people a link so that they can watch and assess and evaluate you. So you asked, how do I approach this? That's how I would suggest you approach a speaking career. And then you ask, is there someone I can reach out to upon my release? And I think I gave you those answers. It was high schools, junior high schools, juvenile halls, jails, colleges even, any place where there is a message of people who are on the path of making bad decisions. You are going to be like this guy who's walked back from the past, and weave in there as many analogies as you possibly can. And I think that you will find a receptive audience who wants to hear from you. So my main focus, though, is don't get distracted by a speaking career. Make sure that you are prepared to find a sustainable employment when you get out, because that's going to make all the difference. And you've got to, if you want to be a speaker, you've got to plan on investing a lot of time and energy. I don't know how old you are, but if you remember the old rock and roll band AC/DC said it was a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you want to come out of prison and build a career as a speaker. And it's a long way, but it's also a way where you invest a lot of hours without compensation, as I'm doing right now and just making this presentation. It takes time, and you've got to do it on your own time. I'm recording this video at 5:30 in the morning, which is because it's the time I can do it before my regular work hours. So there's nothing that I am suggesting that you do that I have not done. I just wish you success on your journey, and I encourage everybody else in the state of Maine's prison system or anywhere else who may be looking at this this video, reach out to me, ask a question. I'm very happy to respond. Thank you very much. I am Michael Santos with the Earning Freedom podcast. If you are outside and you have access to iTunes, I urge you to subscribe to the podcast, rate and review the show, because that's the way we get more distribution to people like Dustin, so that we can inspire people in prison and help them emerge as law-abiding, contributing citizens. Thank you very much.